Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well. So, for today, I'm going to do a different type of reading. I'm going to focus on the socio-political climate of the United States for the next 4 years after today's election. So, today is November 5th, 2024, and I'm going to see how the outcome of this election, whether it's for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump, I want to see how it's going to affect the average American. At this time, many Americans have been pitted against each other by the corporations and the ruling classes who need us to stay divided in order to maintain control and power over us. So as long as we're fighting each other, we can't notice, or we won't notice how they are controlling us and manipulating us and exploiting us for our time, energy, labor, so on and so forth. So regardless of who wins, whether it's Kamala or Trump, please keep in mind that we are human beings first and foremost. We are all part of a human family. So regardless of who you voted for, keep that in mind. It does not matter if you voted for Harris or Trump. That does not supersede or override your humanity or anybody else's humanity, okay? Treat people with respect, with dignity, right? And make sure that regardless of whoever wins, you take care of your responsibilities, your family, your children, your community, other human beings, because we are in the age of Aquarius. Pluto is entering Aquarius very soon, and will be in Aquarius for 2,500 years about. And Aquarius represents the collective, right? It represents large bodies of people, humanity as a whole. And so we have to come together as a collective, or we're going to be weaponized against each other by the ruling class, right? Leo energy. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo. And Leo represents the individual, the king, the ruler. And Aquarius represents the population, a large group of people. So we're kind of being atomized against each other. We're being destroyed as a collective. Like, we're not being allowed to form cohesive, productive groups that talk about what is going on with the world politically. It's turned into a circus. It's turned into a minstrel show, in my opinion. It's a joke. This whole situation is a joke. So regardless of whoever wins, keep in mind that, again, we're human beings first, and we are, whatever our racial orientation, sexual orientation, political orientation, that doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, we all want the same things, and we all want to have happy, healthy lives. We want to take care of our children. We want, peace and prosperity for everybody. We don't want to be at war for 20, 30, 40 years. Like, the way that the planet has been going in terms of politics and economics is to benefit the corporations. It's always been this way. And they're taking more and more power from us. And it's not a coincidence that the more power they grab, the more dissension we have among ourselves. So the more land they have, the more resources they have, the more power and money they have, the more we're fighting each other. That's right. That's a part of the game. So yes, there are power players here. There are pawns, there are knights, kings, queens, and rooks, and so on, right? Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, in my opinion, are pawns. They're not running the game. There are rules to every game out here, and the rules that the elites are playing by are not the rules that we play by. The rules that the ruling class, the oligarchies, the uber wealthy people that they play by, we don't play by the same rules. And so according to them, their only rule is to not lose. So they would do whatever it takes to not lose, including play games with the American public, including manipulate the media, including stealing, lying, killing, manipulating, exploiting. They will do anything it takes to maintain power. And we have to be aware of that and stop, fighting each other, and stop kowtowing to them and basically fight back. Okay, so anyway, Spirit guys, I need some information for the collective. How will the U.S. election affect the average American over the next 4 years? How will the 2024 U.S. presidential election affect the United States citizens and residents over the next 4 years? How will the U.S. presidential election in the year 2024 affect American citizens and residents? If we cannot make babies, maybe we can make some time. So essentially, people will be having less kids, so they'll have more time to work. If I don't have kids, then I'll have more time to work at these corporations. I have more time to make money. So if we can't make babies, then we'll make time. So it seems like the economic situation is going to become more, I don't want to say extreme, but potentially more extreme, to the point where people will have to work so much they won't have time to have a family and have children, which is not surprising because the opposite of Leo is Aquarius, and Leo represents children, making children, recreational sex. Aquarius is not that. It's the opposite, right? So we'll have a lot less children over the next 2,000 plus years. The population is going to not only decline, it's going to probably free fall at some point, and then it'll bounce back when we get into the Capricornian era. We'll see. So, okay. High Priestess. This is Neptune and Pisces energy. This is secrets, mysteries. What's beneath that? The World card. So it seems like we won't know what's going on. Like the world is changing and we won't have a grasp on what those changes are or how to navigate through those changes. Because it's too nebulous, there's so many changes happening that people don't know what to do. Like technology and other situations, politically, socially, culturally, it's hard for us to like get a grasp of what's going on. There's no sense of knowing the future, predicting the future, feeling grounded or secure about the future. But there's a lack of, like, it's almost like the future is hidden from us. We don't know what's coming next. The World card does represent the end of the tarot major arcana. It's the last card. And the world does represent like major paradigm shifts. In this deck, it looks like there's an artificial sun. There's several earths here. There's several bodies here, but the sun looks not like the sun. This could be the moon too. There's a lock and key here. Okay. So some of us are not aware of the paradigm shift that's happening beneath our feet. Things will never be the same again. So either the past is locked away from us, or the future, we're approaching a future that is unfamiliar to us, and we don't have like we have to listen to our intuition, because nothing's going to make sense. Nothing's going to make sense over the next 4 years. Nothing's going to be predictable. Nothing's going to be overt. Nothing's going to be like, okay, I'm going to go to college for 4 years and then I'm going to get this job, this career, and then that's it. There's no clear-cut path. That situation is locked. That old paradigm, that old system is locked away. And there's like a new earth emerging, a new system, a new situation. And we are trying to navigate the new paradigm the same way we did the old one. So we're getting our bearings in the Aquarian age. We don't know what's coming. We're not sure. We're insecure. We have to listen to our intuition. Nothing makes sense. The energy of Capricorn is earth and cardinal. And earth is very grounded. It's very predictable, right? You go to school for 12 years, then go to college for 4, 6, 8 years. Then there's a certain career path or career track you take. You meet somebody, you get married, you have kids. None of that is happening over the next 4 years, and probably even longer than that. So people don't know where they stand with each other or with themselves. There's like a cultural shift. There's a social shift. There's some sort of breakdown in terms of like the rules that have been played. And it's like we can sense something is changing, but we're not aware of the magnitude of these changes. We're still at number 2, thinking that things will go back to the way they were, and they will not. They cannot. I don't know why this is reminding me of Aquarian energy, like 11th house energy. I don't know why I'm getting that image. It's like this is the Aquarian age itself. We're just coming out of like the Piscean age, which was very Neptunian. This is the High Priestess. The World card in the traditional Rider-Waite deck has all 4 fixed signs: Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius here. And so it does represent the end of a cycle, end of a situation, end of a paradigm. The High Priestess is Pisces energy. We're still in Neptune and Pisces until 2026, I believe, because it goes by retrograde. But we don't have any, we don't know how to navigate in this new landscape of Aquarius. Not yet. We're still programmed and traumatized by the energy of Capricorn and Pisces. Deception and slavery. Exploitation. The goalpost is going to keep being moved. What works isn't supposed... Okay, so what's working in the future is not supposed to work. Right? These are new rules that are being written. So if you're operating in the previous paradigm, what used to work in the past will not work for you in the future. What didn't work in the past is actually going to work for you in the future. It's a whole different shift, and people are trying to get their bearings and gain their footing, and it's hard for them to do that because they're not familiar with this system. Whatever's going on right now, they're not familiar with it. It's still new to them. People still have student loan debt, and they still want to follow the rules, but there are no more rules, or the rules have changed. I mentioned rules earlier. The rules have changed significantly in the game. But the elites don't want us to know that. The people running the world want to keep us in the dark about, what's really happening behind the scenes. Something serious has changed. The chess pieces are being moved around. The board is the game itself. The rules of the game are changing, or they've changed. And we're not going to become aware of those rules because they won't tell us. We'll have to find out on our own. And they won't tell us because they want to keep an advantage over us. They want to keep us in the dark, like scrambling, trying to figure things out. They want to keep us invested in the old system so they can have a head start on whatever they're trying to build now. It's like bait us into some sort of trap. Pisces, Aquarius. This is where we were, but we're still here psychologically. We're still here culturally. We're still here politically. But this is where we are energetically. We're evolving. We're ascending into a higher level of consciousness, the High Priestess, where the old world doesn't make sense to us anymore. It doesn't. Spirit guides. I need some more insight for the collective of the United States of America over the next 4 years, please. More insight for the collective of Americans, citizens, non-citizens, residents, illegal aliens. What is going on with the collective of the United States over the next 4 years? 3, 5. Number 5 represents the Hierophant. That's the church. High Priestess is also like church-like energy. Yeah. The old power brokers are moving the chess pieces around, but they can't let us know what's going on because then we'll be able to peep game and intercept. So they have to be as quiet about this as possible. But we can feel the energy shifting, which is why people are divesting from the system. They're not going to college as much, they're not having many children. They're working, they don't want to work as hard. They're trying to find other ways of making easy money. We're trying to break away from the system without really knowing what's going on. Poor human beings. The Moon card. Again, yeah, deception. Confusion. I don't even know what's going on here. What are we doing? 9 of Swords. Something don't feel right though. Nothing's working. But nobody knows why. But there are people who do know why. They just won't tell you. People, institutions, corporations, they're working behind your back to keep you enslaved and locked. Like you're being locked out of something. Or there's a plan to lock you out of something. Will lock you into place energetically. So now this is Pisces energy again. This is Gemini energy. Propaganda, miscommunication, some anxiety. This is not looking good. And I don't want to give any negative energy, but we are entering a Neptune and Aries transit, and Neptune in Aries will make a conjunction with Saturn in Aries, which is in its debilitation. And this is quite depressing energy because Aries represents like courage and confidence and independence and ingenuity and a spark of life and creativity. And with Saturn here, these qualities will be subdued. The divine masculine or the masculine energy will be subdued in some way. They'll feel worthless, helpless. There's a sense of not belonging. Why am I even here? Neptune and Aries. I'm going to say this, and this is like a trigger warning. A lot of people could unalive themselves, especially men, because they're drowning in like illusion and like, I don't know what I'm here for. All this blue energy, all this watery blue energy. There is no, the Nine of Swords has a red dress on, but she's like being attacked by her own thoughts or feelings of worthlessness. People are lying to themselves about their worth and their value. They're being programmed to think a certain way. With the High Priestess and the Moon card, this is psychological warfare. Nine of Swords. People are being attacked psychically. And them being attacked is like taking away their hope. And so a lot of people are going to get rid of themselves, which is also Piscean energy, especially with Neptune being in Aries. And Neptune's going to be in the same house of Saturn, of Chiron in Aries. So we'll have Chiron, Saturn, and Neptune in the same house. So people will feel like they'll have to sacrifice themselves because they can't find a family. They don't know what's going on. They can't find a job. They have no sense of any bearings, any sense of responsibility or value at all. Everything is so up in the air. People are like, what am I doing here? I can't find a job. My whole identity is based on my ability to pay bills and work. And that is going to be severely thwarted or changed, especially with automation. A lot of people won't be able to find work. So the system is shifting, but they can't. The government, the people in power can't tell us what's going on because it's going to cause a lot of mayhem and chaos and anger. People feel cheated. The Moon card and High Priestess, they'll feel cheated because they invest in the system. They sacrifice a lot for the system, but now they're in debt, or they don't have any kids, or they don't have any family. The system's betraying them, and they're aware of this. So we are aware that the sands are shifting beneath us, but we don't know like how to find our bearings, and that's going to affect a lot of people psychologically. They're going to feel like they have no purpose in life. I don't have no family, I have no kids, I don't have no job, I don't have no friends, I ain't got no girl. What am I even here? Oh Lord, this is sort of the negative manifestation of Pluto and Aquarius, because Pluto is a very destructive energy, and Aquarius represents like social connections, friendships, community, networks. This is the destruction of social networks. We could also see a clamp down on social media. A lot of social media will be locked. Communication. There's going to be some like a crackdown on social media for political reasons, economic reasons. And people won't know, like, so the people who are making money on social media, like all the avenues for like self-determination, autonomy are being ripped away. That's Aries energy. So you will not be independent. You won't be free. You won't have any autonomy. You must follow these rules. Saturn and Aries, debilitation. And so a lot of men in particular, I'm picking up men because of Aries energy, a lot of men are going to feel worthless. The devil. Guys, Temperance, listen. We have to stick together. We must stick together. Friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, lovers, husbands, whatever. We must stick together. You see the Nine of Swords? She's blinded to the Temperance card because there's chatter, there's like negative talk, there's like this is like information warfare or communication warfare with Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is still an air sign and rules communication. This is like the weaponization of the community against itself. So now you can't even see your brother or your neighbor or your sibling or your cousin or your child or your husband. You can't even, you think everybody's your enemy. Everybody is like going to feel like that they can't trust anybody. The devil and Temperance card. This is puppeteering. This is orchestrated by the powers that be. Absolutely. So now you see the similarities between the devil card. She's like holding her head in her hands. She can't see what's going on. She's blinded, right, by her own hand, and allowing negative thoughts and negative words and negative commentary to affect her well-being and her mental health. The same thing with the devil card. Head in hands, head down. This is slavery or subjugation or oppression. And it's more so psychological than, it's like psychological. It's like, okay, if you can't find a job, you're not worth anything. But the jobs are gone, or they're not going to be the same or worth anything. Going to college for what? To get in student loan debt and then not be able to find a job? Right? So now it's like we have all this social commentary about high value people or people's value based on the things they have. What's going to happen when people lose the stuff that they have? And they will lose it. With the High Priestess and the World card, it's being taken away from them. This is Neptune energy, Pisces energy. This is losing. This is loss. Releasing, letting go of the things that you value, that give you a sense of grounding, a sense of stability and familiarity and comfort. Those things are being stripped away from us. So people won't be able to deal with that drastic change psychologically. They'll feel hopeless, worthless, helpless, lost. Like, some people need something to do. They need to have a purpose. Whether it's working or taking care of their families, and if you can't find a job and you don't have a family, because of the Aquarian energy or Pluto and Capricorn energy, which placed an emphasis on money over family over the past 14 years, we got to the bag, but there's no babies. Now the bag is worth nothing because of UBI or some digital currency or the economic crash, or something is going to happen that will turn people on their heads or turn society on its head, and they won't know how to cope. They won't know how to cope. People will lose their bearings. They won't know where they are. They won't know who they are. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I have to offer. Society's telling me I'm worthless. This is male energy. Women are suffering too, but they're more so suffering in silence and loneliness. The men are suffering, and they'll be more violent with their suffering. The Three of Cups is what we need to do. The Six of Swords. So we have to go from 9 to the 6. Temperance. 3 swords taken away. Heartache. We have to start listening to each other, enjoying each other's company, outside of social status, outside of money, outside of your career, outside of whatever. So Things are going to be rough for a couple of years, but they'll get better. People start to heal. I'm seeing women here without men. The men are starting to heal, but before they heal, a lot of them will hurt themselves. They're hurting themselves now, but they're going to hurt themselves because the system is going to change so much. Women will be okay, but the men may suffer a little more. Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Yeah, the women will be okay. The men will, to an extent, if they are like willing to relinquish some of their ego, some of their anger, their rage, and their helplessness, and work with women and not against them. That's Neptune and Aries, and even Saturn and Aries too. Suppressing your dominant masculine energy in favor of collaboration and cooperation with other people. The opposite sign of Aries is Libra. A lot of water here. Clarify the Moon card and the Nine of Swords. The King of Pentacles. The King of, the Kings. Kings. The ruling class. The ruling class are not the Moon card and the Nine of Swords. And the King of Pentacles represents your financial security, and King of Wands represents your confidence. People will lose their confidence because they're losing their security, or people will lose their security and then they'll become less confident in themselves. So there's this square between Taurus and Leo. Taurus represents our personal values, our money, our resources, what we own, what we have, and Leo represents our desire to exist, our creative spark, joy. That's being suppressed or drowned out by this unstable energy. So people who once had stability and a sense of purpose, which is like the Leo energy, and also Taurus too. I mentioned the World card being the World card consisting of all of the 4 fixed signs. 2 of them are here. And fixed signs are rigid. They're stable. They're predictable. You know what to expect. That's being taken away on a financial level and on a social level. So there's no babies. King of Wands, because there's no money. King of Pentacles, you're not having any kids if you can't afford them. If we cannot make babies, maybe we can make some time. So for people who were like overcompensating for not having kids in a family, and they were like going to work to like not have to deal with that, the loneliness of it, they're going to, how are they going to feel when they don't have any money and they don't have a career? Clarify the Devil and the Temperance card, and these are like kind of opposites. You go from Temperance to the Devil. So things were okay, and then they get kind of rough. Clarify the Devil and Temperance, please. The Page of Pentacles, economic instability. 5 of Cups. We go from the King to the Page. Where's my next meal? Then with the Queen of Wands here. Women in power, Chariot, 3 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups, Knight of Wands. Okay, yeah. A lot of this is relationship oriented too. There could be a lot of divorces also when Neptune goes into Aries and Saturn too, because it's opposing Libra, the 7th house ruler, which is marriage, open enemies, relationships. So there could be a lot of like divorces that happen during this time period, especially because of economic situations that kind of turn people into former like shells of themselves. So we go from 10 to 2, cheating, cheatations, 3 of Swords, the Chariot, Queen of Wands. We go from the King to the Queen of Wands. A couple was here, 5 of Cups, and regrets about relationships. Like people sacrifice their families. There's some pain and regret about, I'm not going to say hoeing around, but a lot of people were dating casually. They weren't really investing in relationships. They were more invested in money and their financial stability. So they have the financial stability, they have the careers and the money, but they don't have any relationships. So once they lose that career stability and finances, who can lean on for that emotional support. That goes for men and women. And so the sands are shifting beneath our feet. We're trying to all find our way. And instead of doing it in a healthy way, we'll probably lash out at each other and be more reckless and disrespectful toward each other. 5 of Cups. There's going to be some affairs, cheating. We go from 10 to 2, which means that 8 cups are missing. And there's 5 cups here. So yeah, a lot of people are going to regret not taking relationships more seriously, or not taking interpersonal relationships more seriously. Friendships, community, network circles, siblings, whatever. Any 11th house stuff. People are going to regret not taking that seriously. And even with the Scorpio energy missing, the Scorpio and Aquarius energy missing from these 2 kings. Scorpio and Aquarius represents power, intimacy, sexuality, and Aquarius represents, again, the community, the collective. So we've sacrificed intimacy, trust, and vulnerability for financial security. We've sacrificed community and family and a network group of people, right? Society, and connecting with the collective, with individual aspirations and goals. So we have like these parasocial relationships on social media, but we don't have any real relationships in real life. That's the Leo energy. This is Leo Aquarius paradox. So those 2 things are missing. Because those 2 things are missing, you losing your job and your career and your sense of purpose or identity, Leo energy, is going to be even more painful, because now you don't have that community to fall back on. But fortunately, because of this drastic shift, a lot of us will start to come together as a community. We'll start to realize that, wow, my career and my social status, based on how much money I had and where I lived at and my degrees, it was actually preventing me from having truly intimate relationships that were built on trust and, honesty and authenticity and humanity, right? You're valuable as a human being, not because of what you have or your job or your career, but just because of your intrinsic value. We're going to reconnect with those ideals with this 3 of Cups and the 6 of Swords, right? Moving away from that trauma response to poverty and the crack epidemic in the 80s and 90s. Moving away from that dynamic with the Pluto and Scorpio dynamic that we had in the 1980s, the HIV epidemic, drug epidemic, it was a lot of trauma that was inflicted on this generation. And that's why many of us don't have any kids or have very little children. A lot of us are healing from that pathology or that conditioning, but it's going to be a painful transition, because a lot of us are going to lose the jobs and the stability that we've worked hard for, because we have Neptune and Capricorn. Many of us have Neptune and Capricorn, and Capricorn represents structure, system, banking, economy, right? With Neptune being here, there's something about, for the millennial generation in particular, born in 1982 to like 1999, 85 to 99 was when Neptune was in Capricorn. This generation has dealt with a lot of economic instability, like just things shifting and sand shifting, and every time you climb up, something happens and you get broke down again, right? We had the 2001 situation with the terrorist attack, and then we had the mortgage crisis in 2007, which lasted about 8-9 years. Then we had the COVID situation. So the millennials in particular are going to be affected by this, because millennials have Pluto and Scorpio. Or if you're a fixed energy, sun, moon, or ascendant, or even Venus and Mars, any personal planet in a fixed sign, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, you're going to be affected by this the most, because these are, those 4 fixed signs represent the houses of material benefit, the things we have and own and possess. The 2nd house represents like our money. The 5th house represents our body, our identity, our ego. That's the Leo energy. The 8th house represents other people's money, and the 12th house represents like our social connections, our networks, right? Our friendships. These are like, money's important, but also community is important. And if you are a millennial, you've had to deal with economic instability and the destruction of your community, because of this drug epidemic and the things that were happening in the 80s and 90s, and sort of the social collapse. So now we're like dealing with the fallout of that. Gen X dealt with it too, They did. Gen X, a lot of Gen X raised the millennials as teenagers. So they went through this also. Five of Cups. Okay, clarify the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups, please, for the collective. Knight of Cups and the Queen of Swords for the collective for the next 4 years. Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups, please. Ace of Wands, Aries energy. Even though this is all fire signs, but this is like people are starting to like become inspired and motivated again. Once we reconnect with the community, once we have like not just connecting online, I honestly see people like using social media to form social groups for like in-person meetings. So before it used to be, you know, if you want to reach the most amount of people, you go on social media. You have a social media community. Go on Instagram or Facebook Live, and you talk to a bunch of people. I honestly feel like it'll be the reverse. People use social media to like get followers and get views, but then they'll meet in person to forge those types of relationships in that community in person. There'll be a lot more in-person connections, a lot more in-person meetings, a lot of more in-person collaborations, networks. That's what's going to happen. It won't just be people online talking shit. It'll be people like meeting online or I guess being introduced online, not for dating. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for like just like, for example, having a seminar, having these TED Talks, or having, more group activities instead of parasocial ones where you're like living vicariously, or you're just, an observer of someone else's life online, and you're that's not going to work. People are going to be more accessible. It'll go back to the way it was back in the day when people used to go to the club and actually have fun. Because they'll miss that aspect of humanity. They'll miss that spark of sexuality and creativity and fun and the warmth. They'll miss the warmth of humanity. But it's going to be a shift first. There's going to be some disappointments and some fallouts and some setbacks. And people won't know what to do. The ones who survive and don't give it themselves, they'll find strength in other people. They'll find strength in community. And yeah, in-person communities will become more, in-person meetups or collaborations will become more popular in the coming years. Spirit guides, I need some more insight for the collective, please. U.S. citizens, United States Americans, over the next 4 years. U.S. citizens, non-citizens, residents. How will the next 4 years play out for the collective? And I think this will be an international situation. So we have your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. So we are hearing the energy of Leo, which is creativity, right? The fifth house energy. What's beneath that? Jump in. Andromedan energy. Adventure. Say yes to change. You see how this you're like in the middle of a Milky Way or this different galaxy. The possibilities are endless because everything is being dissolved or eradicated or stripped away. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. So now your life is a blank canvas, essentially. You are the author of your own story. You're the artist or the painter or the illustrator of your own life. So now you can't look to the system to tell you what to do anymore, because the system won't exist as we know it. It won't. It can't, because it's too much technology now with automation and AI and all this stuff that was predicted years ago. So it's like you now have to be the master of your own fate and your own destiny. There is no track to success that is familiar to most of us or accessible to most of us. There are some, I'm not saying everybody's going to suffer. There's going to be people who have money who are going to be okay. But the majority of us are going to have to find a way to get through this new cycle, this new season. The chakra healing card. This new paradigm. It's a whole new system. And some of us won't like it. We're like, what am I here for? I'm used to having a schedule, a routine. I'm used to knowing when my bills are going to get paid. I'm used to knowing what to do like day to day. I'm used to having responsibilities and a purpose. Now you're redefining your purpose. You have to jump in to do that though. Adventure. Say yes to change. More insight for the collective for the next 4 years, please. More insights for the collective for the next 4 years. I'm saying 4 years, but this cycle could last much longer because Neptune's going to be in Aries for 14 years. Recovery. Right? This is about healing. But recovery implies that something was damaged, broken, or sick in the first place. So we're going to recover some aspect of ourselves. Oh my God. Why am I saying oh my God, guys? What is in this picture that is giving me an oh my God? There's a key and there's the lock. Bang. There's the key and there's the lock. So we have to unlock this potential within ourselves. We can only do it by harnessing the energy of Aquarius, which is not just about parasocial relationships built on social media. It's not just about clout and bragging and how you look, right? The opposite side of Aquarius, which is like Leo, the shadow side of it. It's not about your ego. It's about connecting with humanity on a real intrinsic level, on a deep level. When someone is sick, they don't care how they look. They don't care how much money they have. They don't care. They're the most vulnerable. There's the lock that goes into the key. So this is going to be a healing cycle for us. But healing comes after a lot of darkness. And I'm just going to keep it 100. A lot of unsurety, a lot of despair, depression, not having any sense of purpose. Like, why am I here? If I can't find a job, if I can't take care of my family, I have no husband, I have no wife, I have no kids, I'm lonely, I'm by myself. There's going to be a lot of despair. But I think it will get to the point where it's like, okay, we got to fix this. This is too much. We're losing too many people. We have to get back to loving each other and not being afraid of each other. Courtesy of Pluto and Scorpio, and even Pluto and Libra. 2 relationship signs. The social contract was broken the most during these 2 generations because the Pluto and Libra generation had to live through the drug epidemic and the HIV epidemic and the social collapse. They were the ones who were left to raise the millennials, or like they were left to their own devices. Millennials kind of grew up in the chaos and dystopia. So we don't really have any other context for the way things were before we became to being, right? That's the way it is. So yeah, Gen X is also healing. More insight for the collective, please. But fire, let me say, Sagittarius is going to be good too. The fire signs are going to be good. Aries, Sag, and Leo. They'll also heal because Neptune's going to be in Aries, making a trine to these planets. Workaholic. What did I say? What did I say? What did I say? I'm not taking all these cards. Should I? How many are these? Well, I'll take them. What did I say? What did I say? You know, sometimes I doubt my ability to do this because I'm a very cerebral person. I'm like, well, do I really know? Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Not to toot my own horn and whatever, but I'm stepping into that. I'm feeling more comfortable in acknowledging my abilities as a reader. And we all have them. So I'm not unique in that at all. But look at this. Who lied to you? Workaholic, insecurity. The devil's here also. I mentioned the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords, what does it look like in the traditional Rider-Waite? A heart with spikes coming out of it, or three swords sticking into it. We went from the 9 to the 6. We were healing from that. Hold on. Let me find the cards that I used. The devil is here. Bang. Page of Pentacles. Trickery. But it's also workaholic energy. The devil is workaholic energy too. And again, if now you have no job, then what? Interesting how this Three of Cups card is the same color. Purple. Recovery. The key is here. The key is to forge interpersonal relationships that are nurturing in nature. This is Cancer energy. Family, community, culture. Restoring the culture. Renewing the culture. Because we were lied to. Completion. Something's over. The World card. I'm still getting the Facade. We were lied to, yo. And we're not aware. This is like the High Priestess energy. With the devil and the moon. If you notice, like there are clouds beneath their feet. So you don't know where you don't know what your next step is going to be. What am I doing next with my life? I've lost everything. I lost my career. I lost my home, my status, my money. Everything that gave me identity is now gone. And some people will not be able to handle that. So we have to rally around those people and give them unconditional love and support. We can't chastise them and castigate them and ostracize them and abuse them and disrespect them because they've lost everything. Because you can be next. Number one, and number two, that person's going through hell. And they're learning how to like redefine their masculinity, which is not just for men, for women too. They're redefining their purpose. Why are they really here? If I can't find a job and I'm not in school, I don't have da-da-da. Who am I without all of those constructs that were created during the Piscean age and fortified and solidified when Pluto went into Capricorn? Who am I without all of those things? So we have to surround them and be impartial. This is Temperance energy, being fair. What did I say earlier? I said your life is a canvas. This lady has 2 buckets of paint to paint on this blank canvas. Okay? And prayer. That's Temperance also. Because there's a distortion here. Our reality has been distorted. Right? We have this this sort of metropolitan area, the big city, right? Fancy job, nice car, nice apartment, single Sex in the City lifestyle, girlfriend's lifestyle. But then we have the simple life as well, without all those things, right? Without all the material things that we were told gave us value so that we can be workaholics, because we were tricked. We were tricked. And the trickery is this damn dragon is holding its acorn. And this acorn is really big. And acorns are currency for squirrels. That's their money. You know. They need that for the winter. I'm not talking about the squirrels that, people feed with whatever. The squirrels that are out in the wild. So, if you give me all of your acorns, all of your energy, your time, your use, your loyalty, if you get in debt for me, I will give you the world. I'll give you status and swag, and I'll tell you that you're a high value person. Give all that to me, I'll give you this big old acorn. But it's a trick, because acorns aren't this damn big. So they're going to take all your acorns and keep theirs too. So the Three of Cups is the renewal energy. This is growth. This is healing. I can't believe this key came out for this lock. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope this message is seen by whoever needs to see it. And I rarely ever say that, but I really hope that this message gets to whoever is going through this despair from a completion, the loss of loved ones, or career path, or an identity, or community, or your sanity even. Please know that there's hope, and we're going to find you. We, the collective, we're going to find you. We're going to help you, and we'll help ourselves in the process. So we're going to come together to fix this problem for once and for all. Are there any more cards I want to pull out? Are there any more cards I want to pull out? I'll do a Sufi wisdom, and I'll do a animal spirit, because I haven't been on here for a while. Balanced life. That popped out. Love seeks your well-being. This is recovery and healing and balanced energy. Now you're not working your behind off for a corporation or a business that doesn't value you. Now you value community and family and the things that money can't buy more than the things money can buy. We betrayed ourselves too, because the acorn, this devil trickery thing wouldn't work if the squirrel wasn't greedy. You have a whole basket of acorns and you still want more. So now you're in a trick bag of debt. You're in a trick bag of working at a job you hate, living in the house that you can't afford to live in because you want to look good to everybody else, being with a man or woman you don't really love or like because they make you look good. That's the trick bag. They're using your own energy against you. That's Neptune energy too. I need a card for the collective. Let me get a card, please, for the collective for the next 4 years. Important messages for the collective. What do they need to know? I can't believe that key came out. And I mentioned in an astrology reading that I did for the collective 3 years ago. I took the video down, but it's private now. I mentioned that Leo is the skeleton key for the Aquarian age. And what's Leo energy? Creativity, love, sincerity, right? Not narcissism and egotism, but I love myself so much that I'm willing to share my love with other people, not for personal aggrandizement, but to help heal the collective. So I'm going to be the best version of myself that I can be so that I can contribute to the collective even more so. If I'm broken down and weak and busted and mentally not well, I can't be of service to anybody else. And that's Aquarian energy, being of service to humanity, right? So this is healthy self-centeredness. Let's say healthy, I'm gonna say narcissism, that's overused, but this is healthy sense of, of Leo. This is the higher octave or the higher expression of Leo. Taking care of myself so I can be of service to others. Not just taking care of myself and, focusing only on me and my body and my looks and my money and my swag and my whatever for the sake of separating myself from other people, othering other people. I have more than you. I look better than you. It's like that kind of competition. That's not good for Aquarius at all. Aquarius is going to crack a lot of people's egos who are fixed signs. Because Aquarius is not about your personal success. It's not about your individual accomplishments. It's about what are you doing to help the collective, period. Period. If you do it for your own selfish reasons, it's going to be a problem for you. You may become successful like initially, but over time, people will see through the facade. Willpower. Improve your willpower to reduce your stress level. This is, again, Aries energy, your will to live. Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, Chiron in Aries, all in the same house. And it's going to be a lot for some people because they're not used to this shifting sands and this insecurity and not knowing what's going on, because it's going to cause depression. You must have the will to live and to fight and to connect with other people in a healthy way. Improve your willpower to reduce your stress level. So don't become overwhelmed by losing everything, because we're all going through it in some way, shape, or form. We're all going to feel like we have no sense of what's going on right now. Even if we have like the tangible stuff, Neptune is still in somebody's, it could be in your 4th house. It could be in your 5th house. It could be your 6th house. Whatever house this Neptune is in, and Saturn, and you're going to feel the effects of this energy in that particular house, especially if you're a fixed sign, right? Because Pluto is making a square or opposition or conjunction to your sun sign. So for example, if you have like an ascendant in Aries and the sun in Scorpio, it's going to be rough. Not in a way that you can't get over it, but you're going to have to work through whatever those challenges are in whatever house placements Neptune is in, and Neptune's ruler and your ascendant ruler, or your sun's ruler. You're going to have to work through those issues, but we have to do it together. It's going to be, the situation is like, okay, you guys remember what happened during COVID and how we all came together for the versus competition? I remember the first verses that happened between Babyface and what's his name? The other producer. I forgot his name. Okay. He's a phenomenal producer. It is what it is. I forgot. But I saw people that I don't even speak to in real life in that room with the 500,000 people on IG. Like, we were all coming together. We were talking about it at work. That was a positive manifestation expression of Aquarius, right? Using creativity and music, Leo, to come together and to build community and to share our experiences and our memories, right? That is what we'll be doing more of over the next 14, 15, 20 years. Simple pleasures. Look for beauty that is all around you. This is gratitude. This is having gratitude. Turn over a new page. Let love lead the way for change. 3 of Cups. Loving yourself first. Loving yourself enough to fight for yourself, first and foremost. To say, I have value even though I don't have a lot of money, or even though I don't have a good career, or even though I'm unemployed, or even though I don't have a husband or a wife, or even though I don't have any kids or a family. I still have intrinsic value. I still have inherent value. And you have to see that within yourself in order to make those connections with other people, or to allow people to see that within you. If you don't see it within yourself, you're going to get triggered if somebody else sees that within you. You're going to say, oh, I don't have any value. And then they'll say, oh, no, you're amazing. And then you're like, no, I'm not. Then you'll get upset, and then you'll fight them. You'll fight them for whatever reason. Let me see if I can find another one, and then I'm going to close it out. Do I want to do another card? I will do an animal totem card, because animals are not judgmental. Animals are great healers. Animals are nice, kind, and sweet, and friendly to a lot of us. They give us comfort. Spirit guides. More insight for the collective of the United States of America, or humanity as a whole. The cards are talking to each other. We're all on the same page. I'm going to pull some dice and I'll be done. Spirit guides, please help me. What do we need to know? What animal is going to be, or spirit animal is going to be our guardian, our messenger, our teacher? Spirit animal, what do we need? spirit animal. What qualities and characteristics do we need to embody as a collective? Concentration, that's for sure. We got to focus. Peacock spirit. And it came out upside down. I should read it upside down. Because this is Leo energy. This is the ultimate Leo energy. Let it shine. And this peacock has a crown on its head. Leo energy. Now, the thing about peacocks is that even though they're beautiful in their own right, people are happy to see them. They feel good when they see a peacock. So the peacock being, the male peacocks anyway, being the ultimate swag birds, right? They have these beautiful feathers. They're pretty. They're, they're very royal looking birds. Because they're sitting in their glory and they're like resting in their purpose, which is to just sit there and be beautiful. They ain't got to do nothing. A peacock can barely fly. It's not a hawk. It's not a hunter like that. I mean, it eats whatever. But it's not known as like an aggressive, angry vulture bird. It's not an owl. It's not an eagle. It's not a eagle. It's not a parrot. It's not any of those birds. It is known for its beautiful feathers, and it makes people feel amazed and in awe, even its mating partners. Oh my God, look how big its plume is. Oh my God, look at the tail of this. Glorious. If you see in slow motion how like magnificent these birds are. These are very angelic birds. But they don't have to do anything for it. And on top of that, we're benefiting from it. We have a symbiotic relationship. They want to show off, and we want to see them show off. We want to be around their beauty, right? Appreciate the simple things, simple pleasures. This looks like kind of like peacock feathers too a little bit, but appreciate the simple things. The peacock does not have to announce itself. It doesn't have to put on Jordans. It doesn't have to ride in a Benz. It doesn't need to live in a nice house. You could put a peacock in the middle of the ghetto in Atlanta or in any major city, and it will still be a peacock. People will still say, oh my God, it's glorious. Doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter who it's with. Doesn't matter how much. It doesn't need any money. Where's the money? Peacocks aren't wearing Balenciagas. They're not wearing Jordans. They're not wearing Hermes bags. What you mean? They don't need that. It would make them look tacky as hell. Put some mini Jordans on a peacock. Put a leather jacket on a peacock. Put the peacock shouldn't even be in a car. Put a peacock in a Tesla. And see what happens. You'll be mad. Like, yo, why are you putting this beautiful bird in this ugly ass car? By comparison. Because it has this inherent God-given intrinsic value. And it doesn't have to make an announcement. It's quiet. It's a quiet bird. I'm not saying it doesn't make noise, but it's not like a crow, right? It's not like a squawking a bird or seagull, whatever. They're relatively quiet compared to other birds. Their beauty and it speaks for itself. When the peacock walks into the room, that's it. So it doesn't need all the external accoutrements or symbols of success. It's the most beautiful bird just because it exists. That's it. Doesn't need a job. Doesn't need a 401k. Doesn't need to, be 6 feet tall. It just is its own. That's it. They're their own beauty standard. No other bird on this planet looks like a peacock. Not one. So now this is like your individuality. But again, it's done in a way that's symbiotic for humanity. Kind of like Whitney Houston. I love talking about her because I love her energy. She's just an amazing, she was an amazing human being and like a manifestation, expression of God's potential. But Whitney was a Leo, but she had Saturn Aquarius. So that kind of made it hard for her to see her value in many ways, or she felt like her gifts were a burden for her. And they were, because as long as she could sing, they were going to try to pimp her out and use her as a workhorse. For their own personal aggrandizement, right? So they, meaning like the industry. And Whitney Houston, she was not a phenomenal singer for us. She was a phenomenal singer because she loved to sing. And you could tell in her early years, she loved to sing. She was so joyous and so beautiful, physically beautiful, and her voice was glorious. She didn't have to do all of the fancy stuff. She was a very petite woman. She didn't need a big booty, big boobies, none of that. Very simple makeup, very simple jewelry. She had wigs on because, you know, for Black artists in particular, like having your hair manipulated every single night is very damaging. So she wore wigs here and there, but she didn't modify her face and her body to that extent where now it takes away from her natural beauty. People appreciated her natural beauty because her voice was glorious. And she was gorgeous too. So I don't need to put on a bedazzled, bejeweled suit with 15,000 dancers around me. I don't need that. I'm already the star. Whitney energy. I'm the star. I mean, she had some dancers on the stage, but they were just there because Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson were like having choreographed dancers back in the day. And what's her name? Paula Abdul. That was a trend back then, but she didn't need that. All she had to do was walk out there like a peacock, stand in the middle of the stage, and just let her beauty shine. That's it. No extravagant choreography, no extravagant clothing. She wore regular clothes, regular outfits, nothing too extravagant, nothing. And people are still drawn to her because of that. That is what we need to find within ourselves over the next 14 years. 4 to 14 years. We're going to need to find that inner beauty within ourselves. It was upside down. So some of us have become arrogant and narcissistic, and we've allowed our money or our material value to say we're high value now. But a lot of us are going to lose that money. A lot of us are going to lose that money. Saturn in Aries is making a square to Capricorn, which is industry. This is institutions, banking. My phone. Yeah, it's institutions and banking, all this stuff. So, you know, this is what happens. This is what happens. So yeah, we have to be very careful about that. We have to be very careful about like saying we're not worth anything because we don't have any money. We don't have any family. No, we have humanity. We are here as human beings. We have value just because we exist. I'm not saying be an asshole, a rapist, a murderer. I'm not saying do all that, because then you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Just relax, chill out. Don't try to hurt anybody else because you're hurting, and you'll be fine. You will be fine. Because again, you have no other choice but to be fine. If you just calm down, you know, change your perspective, see things from a different point of view, and not like feel like you're worthless because you don't have stuff, or you've lost everything you've worked for, which will happen to many people. Many people already feeling that now. And when AI becomes more prominent, a lot of people on social media will also become redundant, because you'll start to have AI models, right? AI journalists, AI tarot readers, right? AI actors in entertainment in Hollywood. That's why they're cashing out now. Hollywood is done. You can get Angelina Jolie. You can turn Angelina Jolie into an AI model, and she won't age. She'll know how to do her lines, CGI or times 1,000. So it's over for Hollywood. That old system is done. Now these people are coming to different platforms to make money. They're leaving California. They're leaving Hollywood. And Hollywood is the world now. Now the whole world's a stage, not just that one particular area. And you know, that's because of technology. So yeah, we're changing our relationship to work and our self-value because, you know, we don't have a choice. The sands have shifted between us. Something is completed. A cycle is done. But this is our opportunity to heal and renew ourselves. This is Scorpio energy. Taking compost in the dead bodies to turn it into fertilizer and thus new life. So we go from being buried in the ground with these orange flowers, and then now the body's decomposed and it turns into new life. What's the body? The old system, our old ego, our old perspectives, the old paradigm is done. It's over. I can't believe that key came out. Oh, thank you, universe. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to order a personal reading, you can take a look at the description box. The link is there. I look forward to your feedback. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will speak to you soon.